grip, draw, anchor, aim, release.
One of the reasons why I became a chef was because I love being creative. Growing up wasn't easy. Both of my parents were severe alcoholics. They drank to oblivion almost every night. When I was around, I believe I was 8, and my sister was 10, 11, and she woke me up and said there was a fire. And we had a lazy boy chair that was on fire, engulfed in flames, and my mother was passed out in her bedroom. Lo and behold, we couldn't wake her up. She wouldn't wake up for anything. And so my sister and I, at very young ages, are standing there running back and forth from the sink, putting out the fire with water. I always said, hey, I'm never gonna be like them. And started to drink excessively myself. I was about 26. I went out for 2 simple drinks and ended up blacked out on the wrong side of the road and woke up to blue lights. I knew at this point something had to change. I knew I had to surrender somehow. I didn't think God would accept a hypocrite like me, that I was too damaged to be loved or be loved by something greater than myself. Bail was made it was about 18 hours later, and I called my dad and I said, boy, do I need to talk to you. And he was 15 years sober at that time. I called him and I said, Dad, I have to talk to you. He said, what about? I said, I just have to talk to you. I let him know my whole story. First thing he did was say, let's go to an AA meeting. And I've been there for 15 years now. This one night, the craving of alcohol was so overwhelming. I was either gonna walk out the door and go drink, I was gonna jump out the window and say goodbye to it all, or I was gonna hit my knees and beg my Savior to save my life. And I did. The obsession was lifted and I no longer had that urge. At that point, I started to believe. I met a beautiful woman and we got engaged and we went to Passion City in November and we found a home. We both loved the church, we loved the worship and the music. Christmas Eve was a special day. Louis, at the end of his sermon, as he does quite often, ends up inviting you, if you're broken and if you're alone and afraid, to invite Jesus in your life. And he did it via text. I figured that I could do. And so I texted in. After the gathering, there was something in me that told me to get a light bulb. And I walked up and inserted the light bulb. And I felt a sense of freedom again. The way that I was brought up, fear was present all the time. I'm not alone and afraid anymore. I felt an answer. I believe through Christ my Lord. I was now forgiven and loved and saved.
Grip, draw, anchor, aim, release.
I am the mother of a 6-year-old little boy, Tiago, and I love all things cosmetology. I love making people, enhancing their beauty, and just giving them that confidence, especially a woman, to be herself. Growing up with my family, we went to a church that was very rigid and basically made me feel like I wasn't good enough. Like no matter what I did, I was never gonna be good enough to get God's acceptance. I went into my teen years, began running away from home a lot, hanging out with the wrong crowds, drinking, doing drugs. When I was in 10th grade, I ran away to downtown Atlanta, and I fell into the hands of the wrong people, specifically a pimp. He kept me for 8 days. I was afraid. If anything, I may have felt that God was just punishing me. I felt like this was gonna be the rest of my life. And finally, when my mom found me was when she sent me off into treatment for 15 months. And then I graduated that program when I was 17, and then came out and went to high school. I ended up dropping out and moved to Florida. Once I turned 18, I started working at a strip club. I was searching for my worth in money and in men through working in strip clubs that eventually just went on to just full prostitution. I felt like if a man was willing to pay X amount of dollars for me, then I must be worth something. I had never felt wanted or needed by anybody before. When Tiago was born, I felt like this would be the unconditional love that I was looking for. Within a couple years, Tiago's father got deported, and my whole life just flipped upside down. I didn't know what I was gonna do. So I brought my son to my mom, and I left him with her for 2 years. After those 2 years, I was even more tired. When I moved to Atlanta last year was when I knew things had to change. I came with the intention to renew my relationship with my son, and I came with the intention also to renew my faith. Passion City Church was my first stop. There was something different about Passion. It wasn't my grandmother's church. The energy at Passion was welcoming. Nobody was telling me I was gonna go to hell because of how I looked. My mom surprised me with a ticket to the Passion Conference 2016. I didn't know anybody in Atlanta, or I wasn't plugged into a community group or anything. And so when I went to Passion 2016, I was a little anxious because I didn't know anybody. Once we got in, there was something there. And I felt Jesus knocking on the door of my heart, like, open up and let me in. And I did. Christine Kane spoke, and she said that there was purpose behind our pain. And when she said that, like, the floodgates just opened up. I felt ignited inside. This is what I need. This is the feeling I've been searching for. This is it. I want Jesus. In Passion and through my community group, I've found a sense of friendship, of a loving community that doesn't judge me based on my past. They don't see that old Jessica, they see the new Jessica, and they want the new Jessica to flourish and grow closer in her walk. My sense of worth is in Jesus and what he did for me and how much he loves me. I want people to experience what I've experienced. There's a ton of other girls out there like me, similar situations, that may feel like there's no way out, and I want them to know that Jesus is the ultimate rescuer, and he sees you where you are, and he meets you there.
These are the stories. And this is the journey that we've been invited into. To wander into that deep mystery of God's unceasing glory that stretches out like a canvas over the hills and valleys of every generation. Come and see what God has done. He lifted up the head of the weary, refreshing the thirsty and the downtrodden. He erased the pages, the chapters of our regrets, and rewrote them with the divine pursuit, His love for us. He renewed the passion of the groom for his bride. He has turned the hearts of the fathers to their children. To those who were far away, to those who doubted and mourned, who rebelled and raged, who questioned and implored the heavens for peace, He heard their cry, and He remembered His promise. He is our shepherd. He led us beside still waters. He restored our soul. All of this He has done for His glory. Jesus has chosen us for a purpose. We are His plan to reach this world, fiery arrows in the hands of a merciful God. We are being sent out, soaring over the cities, created to witness His miraculous power, to see the sick healed, to see the lost found, to see the slave freed, to see the dead alive. His word never failing, His church standing firm, His spirit burning brightly, His gospel breaking through, His name splitting history. He has pierced the sky, He has shattered the darkness, He has done the impossible, and He will do it again. Grip, draw, anchor, aim, release.